interested in my story. Actually, it's a good story, but if it is not, maybe I can entertain you for an hour. So, it'll be great. So, I'm Gilberto, I'm from Brazil. You can call me Gilberto, Gilbert, GR, if you want to call my Chinese name. I came here to talk about my two passions, marketing and China. So, I share my story with Bia because during pubs and drinks and everything, we share our story. And she told me, you have an interesting thing to tell people, maybe people can relate to, maybe people can understand better the challenge you have in China and everything you went through. So, a little bit about me. I work in marketing now. I put 20 plus years because I don't count anymore, both 20 years. So, I have more than 20 years experience in marketing. Marketing, it's all that I've been doing my whole life. I never earned any money doing anything else, just marketing. So early in my life, I discovered my passion about marketing because I think I've always had people skills. So it comes from my father. I think I come from a middle class family in Brazil. And my father was my first boss, and he taught me something about people's skills, good examples. I didn't have good inheritance from him, money-wise, but he gave me good examples. How to be a man, how to be a good professional, and most of all, how to be honest, and a lot about meritocracy. So he was my first boss, as I said. And I learned a lot about this, people's skills, and this fascinated me since I was a little kid. Drive people, move people, try to seduce people to do what you want or what you are selling. So before I realized it was marketing, this kind of things fascinated me. So you can think, I was very young when I decided what I wanted to do in my life. That's me and my family. So this is my sister, my father, and my mother. And it was about this age I discovered my passion. I want to be a musician. So I started to study. I asked my father I want a guitar, so I want to start playing. And then I decided to play guitar and be a musician, very famous musician. I was certain that I would be a big star. And for a while, you can see, I was very happy with my friends, and we were pretty good. I think this is the first time that I shared this picture. I find it on Facebook from my friend. Actually, this is me. So, you can see, if we played here in Terrace, we would say we were pretty good. We are about to rock. We rock the house down. So, when I was in high school, I was this guy. I was sure that I would be a musician. I would be a big rock star. But then college came, and then I got an internship in a newspaper in Brazil, and then I discovered the marketing department. So I discovered the strategies, the planning, the selling, the advertisement, and then I fell in love. Then I rationalized everything that was inside me, and I didn't know what it is. I feel it in my gut that what I wanted to do in my life. But then when I saw it, I understand. I didn't want to be a musician. I wanted to work with marketing. But then I made a parallel. Musicians and marketers, they are very similar. Because if you're a musician, you have to give what people want, you have to understand your crowd, you have to be up to date with all the trends, the new trends. It depends where you are playing. You have to give a different product. So, thinking alike, musicians and marketers, they have a lot of alike. So, I realized this is marketing. This is what I wanted to do. So, I started to study, and I went to college. I was doing business management at the time. I changed to marketing. Then, I keep trying to understand what is marketing. Because I'm pretty sure if I asked you what is marketing, Each of you had a different answer. Maybe they're all right, but what is marketing to you? So this is my question. What do you guys think it is marketing? Anyone can give it a shot? There's no right answer, okay? Advertisement, okay. What else? Create demand.
Selling yourself.
Selling yourself.
All the time.
All the time. Yeah. Everything that you said is inside marketing. But marketing is much more than that. So, I like this guy. This guy in the picture is Peter Drucker. He's the father of management. He died in 2005, 2006, I think. And he said, in 1954, this phrase, business has only two functions, marketing and innovation. All else are costs. Then I get this phrase I use until today. Of course, in my presentation, I love this phrase. Because that's what I believe. Because if you're in a business, you don't innovate, and you don't market, anything else it costs. No, it's an investment. Oh, you're right. I'm just kidding. Yes, of course. He's saying marketing is a cost too. Yes, it is. You have to spend money to make money. And then we have this guy. This is another hero of mine. This guy is called Theodore Levy. This guy is a French guy, and he was an editor in Harvard's Business Review. And this guy said in 1960, a corporation should have, as it may concern, customer satisfaction, not just simply making products. It is true until now. So, what is marketing? Marketing is about people. Always been, always will. Doesn't matter what scenario you are, doesn't matter what technology you have, it's always about driven people. And I loved it since I was a little kid. That's why I found my calling. I have another definition. You can read that. It's boring as hell. But the thing is, everybody has a definition about marketing. Mine is, marketing is the study and practice of marketing relations. It's not just exchanging money for products. It could be products for products, service for money. You can sell yourself. You can advertise. Doesn't matter. It's somebody trying to hit another person. Always about people. And then, I told you guys, I was talking about, I wanted to talk about my two passions, marketing and China. And where those two passions cross each other. So, let's fast forward 20 years later. Because it's not about me just, it's about me in China. So, around 2014, 2015, I was a successful head of marketing in a company in Brazil, and the company that I found my love, and then
where is the love?
There, we used to work in the same company in Brazil, and then around 2014, she said to me, Gilberto, you never come to Gilberto, but I cannot say it. I had an offer. The company asking me to go to China. So I'm gonna be an expat. They need me to go there. So I was very understanding. At the beginning I said, please don't go. But no, we talked it through, and then we understand it was a great opportunity for her. We are both globetrotters, we like to travel a lot. So we had this plan. So you go to China, it was a 1.5-year project. You go there, we can see each other each 2 months. I go there, you come into Brazil, we can do it. We can do it. So she came in 2015, around 2015. And then 2 months after she came, I come to China for the first time. And it hit me. When I came here, I understand. I want to live here. Because for a marketeer, that's where things are happening. Because I work in retail in Brazil, I used to work in retail in Brazil, and I'm always this guy looking for trends, looking for new things. And I didn't know where to search anymore. We're not in America, we're not in Brazil, we're not in Europe anymore. But when I come to China, I understand, it is here. So I fell in love with this place, and I start to think, I want to go there. And then, among all the reasons that I fell in love with China, this hit me as a marketer. When I find out what this was, not just an anabolized WhatsApp, I understand what this platform does, I was in shock. I want to understand, I want to live, I want to use it. I want to know why this app made this revolution in retail in the world. Because all the companies in the world, they are doing the same. They are trying to do the same. And then, people in Brazil, I didn't came to Brazil at the time, but people keep asking me, how was your experience in China? So, we want to know more about WeChat, what does it do, what it is like to use WeChat in China. And then I used to do some talks and speeches in Brazil, and I used to explain WeChat like this. So, I use a lot this frame. This is WeChat. WeChat is like WhatsApp, Pinterest, Instagram, Skype, Viber at the time. So you have it all in one app. But I have to update this. Now I use that one. This is WeChat now. So it's everything. It's all in one platform. So this is a revolution in the whole world. I used to say China is 5 years ahead from America in terms of innovation. And it's true. But there's a way I can explain WeChat without words. And you guys here, you understand. This is WeChat. This is WeChat. This is WeChat. And this is WeChat. No cash acceptable. So, only being here, you truly understand what is mobile payment, what is cashless environment, everything. And for a marketer, it is fascinating. Fascinating. That's the main reason. Then I saw this. Innovation is not in San Francisco anymore. It is in Shenzhen, Great Bay Area, and Beijing area. So if you can see, the GDP provided by Shenzhen area and Beijing area is double San Francisco, Silicon Valley. So this is the place. So this is my car. So I decided to come. I have no doubts, that is my place. So I talked to Renata, the love of my life, and then I say, I will spend the last year, you were in China, I'm gonna be with you. So I'm gonna start learning Mandarin, I'm gonna live, breathe, and leave China for a year. That was my plan. So maybe we can see what happened there. I didn't have too much plan after that, okay, at the time. So she said, come with me, let's go, I support you. So I came. And then I decided, let's learn Mandarin, let's learn Chinese. So my plan is, I will learn Mandarin, I had some business in Brazil to do some consultancy, I could handle myself here, and I start to produce a lot of articles and texts, and I put my LinkedIn on, yeah. So that was my plan. Maybe do some network, then I joined AppNet, and it was a great thing, I knew people, and then I understand more and more what is this environment. And then I realized I want to work in a Chinese company. I just don't want to breathe and leave China. I want to dive in China. I don't understand inside the companies what's going on. I want to manage a Chinese team. I want to learn from them and maybe teach something. So my project started. And then I realized I could not go into a company as an assistant or an analyst. People saw my resume, I tried, I really tried. But when they saw my resume, they say, oh, you're not going to stay here because you're too qualified for that. Then I started to diminish my resume. I say, oh, I'm not that good. I'm pretty lazy. But no, they wouldn't hire me as an assistant. And to be a manager, to manage people in China, even a marketing department, you have to know a little bit better. You don't have to be fluent, but you have to understand and communicate in Chinese. So, I prepare myself. I studied during 8 months, 6 to 8 hours per day. So, I'm not fluent yet. Mandarin is very tough. But I could manage myself. Then, through my network in Abanet, I knew the guys from Higher China. You guys know Higher China? They helped me with an offer for a company in China that needed a head of marketing. So, I could get a Chinese boss to call it mine. So, he's not a guy, but it looks like that guy. So, I went to the interview and the guy said, oh, we are a Chinese company, we are 20 years old, and we are a factory, we do most OEM, and we sell white label for other companies, other brands, pretty much like 90% of companies in China. But this guy said, I want to be global. I want to build a brand. I want you to be the guy that helped me to do that. So I want to build a brand. I want to be global with my brand, not with my products. At the time, they were selling for 60 countries, just products. Then I couldn't handle myself. I said, of course, I'm the guy. I'm your guy. And he said, can you handle Mandarin? I said, Mama, hoo. And then we talk a little bit, 2 minutes, they say, you have Mandarin good enough. Because you have 4 or 5 people in your team now, we have to hire more 10 people. Half of them don't understand English. Maybe 2, 3 or 4, they understand English, but they don't talk. And we have 1 that can speak English fluently. So I said, good enough, let's go. So then I get in this challenge, and then I get there. I have 6 people, already 6 people in the marketing department, and then I hire in the first week 4 more, so we are 10. Then I start to realize that I have more work to do than I thought. Because you guys will understand one thing. When you work in the marketing department, most of the marketing departments in companies, they are too worried about what the customers think, to conquer the customer, to win over the customers. But they don't have too much care with the teammates, with the employees. There are a lot of companies, you can believe me, that people inside, they are the saboteurs. They don't like the product, they don't like the company, they just are there for the paychecks. And I found this there. They are just there for the paychecks. 9 to 6, okay, what do you want me to do? The marketing department there was just a support for the sales, doing materials for the sales team and everything. That is not a marketing department. Marketing department make plans, strategy, build brands. So, I understand the first thing that I needed to do was to convince my team, to make them believe, because they didn't believe in the company. And you cannot have a marketing department if your teammates, your team, don't believe what they are doing. So my strategy was doing like that. 100% of the companies know what they do, know what they do, know what they sell. Okay? So if you see the outside part of the circle is the companies that you know what you do. It's the rational part. I know what you do. I sell cars. I'm a lawyer. I sell technological products and everything. Some companies know how they do it. The USP, the advantage, the competitive advantage, all the attributes, they are better, or they think they are better. But just a few companies know why they do what they do. And it's not about the profit. The profit is a result. I'm talking about purpose. Why you do what you do. It's not about how, it's not about what. Why? And then I couldn't find this feeling here in the companies in China. That I work and the others. They stop in the what. What you're doing. They know. But they don't know how, they don't know especially why. And if you work in a marketing department and you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you don't believe it. If you don't believe it, you can sell. That's the secret. That was my first challenge. So, I had to make them think inside out. Because most of the companies think outside in. For example, this company that I work for called Touch Beauty, they sell beauty tech devices. Facial cleansers, facial massagers, you know, right? So I asked them, what do we do? So we do facial cleansers. How do we do it? We do it user-friendly, good design. Okay, wanna buy it? No, pretty much common, right? But if I say, we in Touch Beauty believe in challenge every day ourselves to do things differently. And we believe every human are beautiful. How do we challenge the status quo to do things differently? With a good design and products easy to use. It happens we do facial cleansers. Change everything, right? Change everything. Because you go right to the why. And this is not just an opinion. If you think it's more biological, not even psychological, it's biological. Because if you see your brain, you have a cortex of your brain, it's pretty much like this. You have the outside part of your brain, the neocortex, is responsible for the rational things, the language. So you pretty much understand the numbers, the figures, and everything. It's rational. So we understand it's rational. So you cut yourself sometimes, oh, this is good price, it's a good product, but I don't feel like buying it. Because the inner part of your brain, the limbic part of your brain, is responsible for the emotion. The loyalty drives behavior, but doesn't have language capacity. That's why you say, I know it's good for me, but doesn't feel right. Feeling is the limbic part of your brain. It's the why. So, instead of saying what you do and try to sell inside, oh, okay, I understand, you're good, you have some advantage, you have a good price, but I don't feel like. You go straight to the why. And you conquer where the behavior goes. And then you can make a reason, you can make it rational, the reason to buy your product. If you can conquer your customer from the why, it's just a matter of time. They make a reason, they rationalize the feeling, because you cannot express until you get to the what. So I try to explain that to my team. Then once they understand that, I have a good team. They believe it. They work with passion. And this is the most important thing. Otherwise I cannot work. Things, they don't do great. Okay? So, I have my team on my side. They understand what we need to do. They understand they have to believe what they are doing to sell products, to sell the brand. Now I had to get to the CEO. He needs to give me money, to the media, to spread the word, to spread the word to the world. But, as Morpheus said, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. In my interview he said, I have money, I want to invest, I want a global brand. But then, when I start to say to him, what do we need to do to get there? things get a little rush. First of all, I had to deal with a cultural difference. Of course, I knew that, but I confess I underestimate that, because the way of an owner of a factory think is totally different as the marketing department needs. I give you guys some examples. When I made the plan, and you guys have to understand, in the marketing department, if a marketeer says to you, I know exactly how much money you're going to have in return out of this investment. He's lying, either he's lying to you, or he's a saboteur, because he doesn't know. There's no way he knows. A marketeer is a guy that knows the drill, that knows the best practices, and he knows how to read the indicators. So he can drive the ship to the right place. He can understand the signs. But he doesn't know. He does and measure. Does and measure all the time. He doesn't know in advance if it's gonna work or not. If anybody says to you that he knows it's gonna work, he's lying. Because it doesn't work the same thing for the same company in different time. And of course, things that do in different company doesn't work for your company. You have to understand each company has its own strategy. And he just know what he's saying. You don't know before. So, having said that, I was presenting the plan, and the guy said to me, I want to know exactly how much money you're going to put in every media, and I want to know exactly how much money I'm going to get from this media in return. And I say, it is impossible. And then I explain exactly the way I explained to you guys. It's like, no, this is not the way I work. And then I said, this is the way the work is. Doesn't matter if you work this way or not. And then I call an agent, because my strategy is, he have to hear this from others. More people saying that, he will believe it. Then I call an agent to reinforce this thought and tell him how this works. And then he told to the guy, you do the plan, you do the investment, if I don't like it, the result, you give my money back. The guy get up in the meeting and say, thank you very much, I'm not coming back. So I had to deal with this. Another episode, we have to do a video for a campaign, and he said, the guys, you should make the video, show me the video, if I don't like the video, I don't pay. Then I understand I have to go to the simple. Understand services doesn't look like that, doesn't work like that. Because I have to understand he's a factory guy. He's used to work like, give me a sample. If I like the sample, I buy the rest. He worked like that his whole life, 50 years. So it's my fault, my fault if he doesn't understand this kind of thing. I have to be more clear. So I try a different approach. And I can explain better to you. And I say, sort of like that. An example, Renata, do you love me? Do you love me? Prove it. What is the metric? What is the number that make me believe that you love me? There's impossible to prove, but it's happened. She loves me. When I first met her, I didn't love her. Now I love her. When did it happen? When did it happen? Martin's like that. You don't know. You have to commit, because you know there's something there. I call her out, I bought her flowers, she doesn't love me, I maybe should quit. It doesn't work. Right? Should be like that. No. You have to commit to an act of service. Because you know there's something there, something good. And that I cannot explain when it's happened, but it is gonna happen. It's like a gym. If you're going to the gym, you go one day a gym, you look in the mirror, nothing happened. You go the second day, look at the mirror, nothing happened. So, it's not effective. I should quit, right? No, it's not about that. It's like relationships. So it's day by day you're committing to services. It's the way it works. It's not about events. It's not about intensity. It's all about consistency. It's all about that. So what I try to explain is, if you go to a dentist 2 times a year, your teeth will fall out. You have to brush your teeth every day. You go to the dentist because you have some guidance and you have to understand, but you have to brush your teeth every day, 2 times, 3 times a day, 2 minutes. That will guarantee your teeth doesn't fall out. Consistency is not about the events. And if you stick to the events, intensity, if you work out 9 hours one day, doesn't do nothing for you. You're gonna hurt yourself. You have to work out every day, 3 or 4 times a week, for 20, 30 minutes. Then you're gonna get in shape. I don't know which day, but eventually you're gonna get in shape because you know there's the path. The same thing happens to marketing. The marketer is the guy that knows the path. And he knows he has to commit with this act of service every day to show eventual results. You can fast forward this path, you can be slower, it depends how much money you invest, there's a lot of things. But if you keep in look at the events, the minor things, isolated, they do nothing. And of course you hear that, oh, I tried to do this, didn't work, doesn't work. And he's right, because if you do one thing alone, doesn't work. It's a lot of things together. It's a huge amount of little things together that make it work. And if you don't commit with this along with the time, you don't have its time to do it, to grow, it doesn't happen. So, I try to explain to him like that. Didn't work. So my approach was, I have to work with third parties. So if the investment doesn't come from the company, I have to work with distributors. So we have this huge content. We start to do branding. The teammates, my team, they're vibrant. They want to do it. We know what we're doing is good. It works. Let's show to other distributors outside China. So we did it. We showed to India, Thailand, America, Europe, and these distributors, they were crazy about the material. They were crazy about the brand. And then from 60 countries selling the products, in the end of the last year, they have 120 countries selling Dutch beauty brand. Because they love the material. They believe in the brand. Because when we present the brand, we believed in the brand. It was easy to sell. After that, you win over your team, you get away because as a marketeer, you have always to have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we start to work in the branding. So working the branding is something that in China is not very common. I understand there's a lack of professionals. So I have to form. I have 15 people under me in this company. None of them have marketing background. I have to train a single one of them. So all the concepts of marketing that I told you and every day, of course, this is just a summary, but every day I have to train them to understand how you do it, the KPIs, the indicators, how do you measure your work, and everything. And every day we do some pills working. What is the brand? What is branding? what is a benchmark, and eventually now they are good marketing professionals. They can work outside China. Some of them have to learn English, but they can work outside China. So this is it for everybody. Brand is an outside expression of who you are inside. It's how you shout to the world who you are. So it's always why. You have to understand, you don't have to sell for the people that need what you have. You have to sell for people that believe what you believe. That's your mindset. It's not about what, it's about why. Don't sell to people that need what you have. Sell to people that believe in what you believe. And the first people that you have to sell is your teammates. They're gonna make your success. And then I wanna tell you guys a curious episode, because I was in a Chinese company and I'm doing the image of the brand. And so far, the image of the brand for women were just Chinese women. And then I want to become global. Then I want to be more inclusive. I want the brand represent all the women in the world. So imagine when I propose in a board meeting in a Chinese company to put a black woman in a Chinese company advertisement. They never did that. They never did that. So it was a taboo. I have to fight for that. But once he did it, people in America, in South America, in India, in Africa could be represented by the brand. I want to show you, I don't think I have sound, but the video is good enough. It explains very well the transition between the what brand to the why brand. So I want to show you guys a video that was an institutional video, a product video, before I get there. Oh, it's not good. Technical problems. No, where's the technical guy? Oh, well, I can send you after that, no problem. As a marketeer, you always have a plan B, of course. But what I wanted to show you here is the video before was just about what product do you sell and the technical things about the product and where to turn on the product and everything. And then we decided to do a video with different approach. So why you should buy this product? To feel beautiful in the morning. Is your best friend to travel. So we decided to do the different approach. And this was the approach that made us enter in different countries, such as China, Thailand, and America with our brand. So eventually, he was convinced about this strategy. I didn't need the money, but he was convinced. Let me get back here. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Ah, there you go. There you go.
I don't need it. You can go without that. So, after they start to learn about branding, I started to pass some concepts about marketing. And you have to understand nowadays, marketing is about content. So, if you don't do content, you don't produce content, people don't relate to your brand, people don't believe in your brand, and they don't relate it to you, they don't believe you. So marketing content is the center of the marketing strategy, any marketing strategy nowadays. So, for you who wants to know what is the beginning of marketing content, you have to understand who you are as a brand, where are your customers, and what problem can you solve for them. So if you can answer these three simple questions, you can start producing content. And the content doesn't have to be related to your product. But if they understand you are a problem solver for them, they relate to you. And this kind of concept, the Chinese company start to understand, and then it drove all the strategy differently. And finally, I could introduce the importance of brand metrics. Because if you're a marketer, you don't do just with your guts. I talk about a lot about guts, feeling, everything. But there's a limit. If you don't measure what you do, it's like you didn't do it. Because you don't know if it worked, if you don't know if you need to repeat, you don't know if you have to change. So, metrics, doing and measure is the most important thing you do in a marketplace. Because without data, you're just another guy with opinion. If you don't have data to support you, you're just another guy with opinion. You don't want to be this guy. And finally, yeah, tech base, the tech support here. See if we, yeah. Just remember to there. It's the smell of IT guy. Yeah. So, as I said, without data, you're just another person with an opinion. So, then I was talking about my journey in the Chinese company, and then in the end of the year, I started to get a lot of companies promote me and ask me what I'm doing and if I want to join them. And then, in the end of the year, I decided to go to another company because what I have in this challenge, I built something, I built a team, I built a strategy, and was everything run okay? And then I have this feeling inside me that if it is everything okay, maybe I don't belong here anymore. Maybe it's time to go because it's time to give space for other people to do this job. If you want to hire me, you have to say, I don't have anything. I want to start from zero. Then you move me. Because I love building things from scratch. So, in December, a company that I was talking to for a couple of months, it was a startup from Europe. They said to me, we are a couple of engineers that has a new startup in technology field, and then we want to build a marketing department. We know nothing about it. We need a guy that can handle for us. And we want to be global, we want to be big. Can you handle that? I said, I'm in. Because that kind of thing moves me. I don't like companies that everything is going okay. I like companies where people don't know what to do. Because I'm this guy. Entrepreneur by nature. So I embraced the challenge. I went to another company. At the same time, I had an offer to teach marketing for Chinese. That moves me because Chinese are willing to learn about marketing now. They weren't before. So now, they open a branch from Istituto Marangoni. It's an Italian institute for fashion and design. And I'm a marketing professor there for Chinese people. It's unbelievable. So, just that, it's a victory for me. 2 years from the day they arrive in China, I'm teaching Chinese marketing. Because they want to know more about marketing. So my journey didn't finish, of course. There's a lot of things to do here in China. I don't know how long we're gonna be here. Right, my love? We don't know how long we're gonna be here. But so far we love it. And I hope you guys love it. Because I want to share this love of about marketing, about China. And of course, have its toes. Living here, we all know. But so far, it's a a pretty good ride. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this journey, to this story. I hope I couldn't present you for an hour. And then, if you want to add me on LinkedIn or my WeChat, you have any doubt about marketing, maybe I can do a group after beer. And then, if you have any questions after that. But if you have any questions now, of course, you can shoot.
Gilberto, who's that guy with the beard on the picture, by the way?
It's me 5 years ago, maybe. It's me 5 years ago. It's the same, right?
Do we have some questions? I pass. We only have one microphone.
That's all right, I can talk.
You can shout.
Gilberto, you mentioned metrics. Just what kind of metrics do you use?
Oh, bunch of metrics. If you're talking about online, for example, visitors, conversion. If you talk about social media, likes, comments, shares, there's a lot of metrics. And of course, revenue per customer. You have a lot of metrics to measure. Depends what is your goal. Is your goal? Because the numbers is out there, especially in this data world. Oh, thank you. You're gonna get me drunk. But especially nowadays, we have more data than in other areas. Just so you know, 90% of the data generated now is generated in the last 2 years. 90% of the data that exists was generated in the last 2 years. So we have data for everything. There's no excuse you don't know what you're doing. So you can measure everything.
If you put a weight on that, what's the highest priority?
Sorry, what?
What's the highest priority in terms of the metrics you use?
If you're the highest priority to measure?
Which one are you going to choose?
It depends. It depends. It depends on your strategy. Imagine you have a store in a mall, and you're just open. Your highest priority is to get visitors. So you're going to do everything to get visitors. If you're a well-established place, they have enough visitors. You have to increase your revenue per visitor. Maybe your average sales. So it depends. What is stage you are of your business? Okay.
I have a question about WeChat because there's a lot of talk about WeChat, and they're dedicating a lot of time to develop their kind of like business version of WeChat, and with the intention of going global with it as a platform, because it does cover all the areas you do. But I read another also report about the integrity of it as for foreign companies to use it because security issues, the way they have control and stuff. So what do you personally believe, even though you believe in this as a thing? I think, like now in the West, a lot of companies are being very hesitant about using even some of Chinese technology like Huawei because they're concerned about, data safety and, confidentiality and things. How do you personally think?
Have you guys heard the question? She asked about WeChat. And what I'm thinking about the future of WeChat for foreign companies to use WeChat strategy and information and the Huawei case, if a company outside China trusts to put data on WeChat and everything. WeChat, it's an unbelievable platform, all-in-one in China, but it's a good question because now I'm studying about the path that WeChat is walking now. It's very dangerous because I'm talking the good part. WeChat has the mini programs. It's unbelievable. It's a huge success. You don't have to have an app anymore in China. You just have a mini program you can use in WeChat because they want you to stay inside the platform. And that's the mistake. also. It's the genius thing, but that's the mistake. The good platforms that works globally, they allow you to connect to the other platforms. And WeChat is doing the opposite. They are forbidden outside platforms to connect to WeChat. They wanted to be the only platform that you use. They are banned some apps from WeChat, and I think it is a dangerous path. They can, it could get wrong. I don't approve this kind of people, but it's their strategy. Tencent maybe know how to do what they do, but I wouldn't do that. If I wanted to be global, I would open WeChat for other platforms to connect. They are doing the opposite. So I don't know what's gonna do. What I've seen, there's a lot of other medias like Douyin, Xiaohongshu, they are increasing in China. More than WeChat, in percentage, of course. WeChat has more than 1 billion, but they are increasing in percentage, the number of WeChat is increasing.
But I think it's more like an issue, like for WeChat strategy, for a foreign company who's planning to market in China, it's a phenomenal, you know, you see there's a lot of consultants now who are providing services to, the opposite way around, teaching them how to leverage WeChat as a possibility to penetrate the Chinese market.
Yeah, if you are a foreign brand, you want to get in China, you want to be successful in China, you have to have a store in WeChat, you have to have a mini app. You don't have to get out of WeChat, of course. No. But I'm just thinking about the future. I don't know. But of course, WeChat is the first app you have to be if you're a foreign brand in China. Because it is where everybody is. Remember I said, you have to know where your customers are. Here in China, everybody is in WeChat. If you're not in WeChat, it doesn't exist.
Well, I guess the extension of that is that in the U.S., we tend to gravitate to apps and URLs. So we're not on. We don't do QR codes. We just don't do it. So you know, you go to McDonald's in U.S. They want you to log into the website. And to the website, then you have to go certain steps. Where WeChat, you go straight to the exact area that you want to go to. So I think what you're saying is that WeChat maybe. I think that WeChat taken to the U.S. will dominate with the aspect of QR codes, because in the U.S. we just don't do it. We don't do QR codes.
Yeah, it's true. The one thing that China teaches us is how to use QR codes. Because we started using QR codes in 2000, maybe 2011, 2010, and then everybody drives through the website home. So it was good technology, but using the wrong way. But China teaches the real use to QR codes. One thing that I saw in Brazil, the Visa company, credit card company, they are doing an app exactly like WeChat. And they are putting restaurants, it's an app, you scan the QR code, you attach your credit card, and you pay. Really like WeChat, Alipay. So I think QR code is going to be used in the US as well, I think, because it's seamless. So it's the best way to do it. But the challenge is, here in China you have two apps, Alipay and Tencent, and WeChat. So two companies fighting for this huge market. So 1.6 billion people, you have a whole world here. So you can get a great scale here. So if you're big in China, you're big in the world. You're one of the biggest companies in the world. Then you have scale to fight outside China. But if you're a foreign company, you have too much in game. So who is going to dominate the mobile payment outside China? You have the banks, you have the credit cards, you have the tech companies. Who's going to do it? Maybe a new fintech?
No.
We don't know. And they are going to destroy each other. Because nobody's going to let the other get away. And you have the banks, have a lot of stakeholders. They won't let one or two companies succeed. So we're going to see a lot of this fight.
It's an operating system. It's not a messaging system. It's really no different than Android. It's the same power.
To be honest, Chinese government, they like and control everything. So
Yeah, we know.
The problem is
She says Chinese government likes to control everything. It's news for me.
China, even my kids, I told them, please download WeChat so we can talk because in China WhatsApp is blocked. So, no, I don't want it. China is controlling it. They are watching us.
Yeah,
Everybody's watching
It's almost
everybody.
like Huawei now. The same problem Huawei is now. No question Huawei is a technology advance. But the fact, the contamination of being linked to the China government, most people don't want to touch it.
No. The whole thing is, if you look at who's looking at who, anybody that has a cell phone, we all have cell phones.
Yeah.
No matter what company you're with,
You can call
you're
Snowden.
being
He can tell you.
tracked. They know everything about you. They know everything. So being connected to an app like WeChat or Alipay or Apple Pay, it's just an extension of your phone that they already
The
know.
thing
about.
is, you don't have to be scared.
100%.
We give data away all the time.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
But the question is, it's all about, like you said, marketing is about image. WeChat has a negative image, just like Alibaba. In China, everybody loves it. Outside China, image of Alibaba is about books. Only copies.
He's saying WeChat has a bad image outside China.
Alibaba bad. Alibaba
Isso, mas é pra gente, aqui no Brasil, aí tem Europa, Estados Unidos, West Coast, o pessoal tá dormindo, então tá todo mundo assim, firma que cancelou, firma que cancelou. Sabe, tipo, porque tem que ficar feliz.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
Isso aqui é um produto de enterprise. Eu vou ter que ir, eu vou fazer uma chamada agora.
Vai, volta.
Vou lá fora.
The cultural differences for me, I underestimate some things, and I tell a case you understand. I think most of Western companies are working companies in America, in Europe, and of course in Brazil. But it's pretty usual. You are at the table discussing a subject, anything, and you say, "Do you agree?" "No, I don't agree. That's my point of view. That's your point of view." Things can get heated, but you discuss in the table, then you get off the meeting, a good meeting, you're discussing because you want the best for the company. I did that in the Chinese company. The Laoban asked me, "Do you agree with me?" Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. I don't agree with you. That's why. And then I realized every time I said that, I don't agree with you, the meeting was over. He couldn't say anything else, and the meeting was over. And then I get to talk to a Chinese friend of mine, and I explained this thing. What happened? And he said to me, "You are disrespecting him because he's the boss. You could not disagree with him." And of course I don't understand this kind of behavior, but I have to accept. You could not disagree with your boss. So, for me, this because I like to argue a lot. So, this is the biggest challenge for me, to understand that.
No
So,
meu nível, não.
For me, I underestimate this kind of
Mas
cultural
acima
difference.
de mim, sim. Então, quando a direção é de cima pra cá. Por exemplo, esse lance. Acabou. Tipo,
Yeah, I
praticamente
can.
pago pra fazer.
I can.
Tem que perguntar por que acabou.
I can.
I love you.
Cancelou, cancelou.
Jose, I love you.
Wo anima. Yeah, I'm not in the level that I want, but I'm in the level of communication with the team, and I'm still studying because it's too hard. It's too hard. You have to practice. You have to practice the listening. For me, the listening is the worst part. Always. A different accents you have here in China. What? Oh, of course. If you don't have the fluency, you have a problem of communication. You have to handle it. I try to do that in the best way possible. But of course, it is different.
O que eu
It's
aprendi
different. You don't have
É
the
que às
influence
vezes-
to do the speeches, to convince them. You have to do the other way. You have to use a lot of images.
Porque aí você vai
The
discutir, vai
speech has to be
sair,
very
vai
simple.
concordar, vai sair,
to
eles vão fazer
understand.
do jeito que eles querem.
So it's not
Às vezes
easy,
é bom
but
você
it's
deixar se
manageable.
fuder pra aprender,
manageable.
entendeu? Então,
If you're building a website here,
porque na próxima vez, às vezes vai ter um pouco mais de confiança em você quando você dá seu pitaco a próxima vez. Então às vezes eu falo, olha, eu faria assim, assim, assim. Então, se você quer que eu faça desse jeito, eu faço desse
Doesn't matter.
jeito.
It's your choice.
Tá, faz desse jeito que eu faço. E aí não vou dizer, tipo, então
I did
assim,
both.
mas, tipo, a próxima vez eu falo, olha, o que você acha da gente tentar diferente?
No problem at all.
Vamos fazer
You can put .cn, .com,
Então, tipo, não adianta você bater de
Gilberto.
frente,
Nowadays
você
you can
perde,
put
sabe?
anything.
Tipo, então, você quer que faça assim?
Yeah, you
Esse
can.
número,
You can.
porque às
You
vezes é
can do some
tipo,
more.
esse número que
to
você
do it.
quer,
No
esse
problem
número
at
que eu
all.
vou te dar.
You can do it.
Mas eu não
The
concordo,
URL is not
sabe,
a problem
assim?
for ranking, especially in SEO.
Mas pede milagre?
É muito número. Então, assim, por exemplo,
Mas número realista?
assim, ROI, é ROI. Não interessa se tem engagement, não interessa se tem like, não interessa, é ROI.
Felix, okay? Any questions?
A meta é
Any more
ROI.
questions?
ROI.
Last question, then I can answer it down there.
Existe, por
It's
exemplo, pra
better.
gente, assim, marketing, tá porque, existe porque tem que estar. Não são as prioridades. Venda é prioridade. Então, assim, então a
The
minha
question is,
estratégia,
if I would do
eu crio
advertisement in
porque eu
China, is different
alinho
from
com a
the market.
venda. A
Of
venda
course,
que eles falam
totally.
que eles
Totally.
querem,
Beginning with
tá dando certo,
the,
ok, qual que é a prioridade? Essa, então
the
vamos
words
fazer.
that you choose. For
Se eu fizer
example,
sozinho,
you cannot use
não
the
funciona,
best
entendeu?
here in China.
E aí
That
que
you
eu
see a
vejo,
lot.
tipo, aí por exemplo,
in
as
foreign
equipes da Europa e
advertising.
dos
We
Estados
are the
Unidos
best.
funcionam assim,
We are the
eles
number
só
one.
se fodem.
We are the only one.
Eles
You
querem
cannot
fazer o
use
que eles
this in
querem, não
China.
existe uma
So you have to
comunicação.
understand the rules.
A gente, tipo,
And not just about
ainda
the
tá
rules,
crescendo, entendeu?
the aesthetics. Totally different. What Chinese understand as high-end luxury is different from Western.
Ah, mas é tudo digital, né?
So you have to adapt.
Comunicação, digital.
You're proud, everything you have to do it. You have to think it. And China is the most
América Latina só, né?
because if you do
Aí, por
a
exemplo, se eu fizer
global
evento,
advertisement, you can suit pretty much for every country but China. China is
e eles acham que eles foram contratados para salvar a China.
Thank
Só que
you.
eles esquecem que quem paga eles é a
Thank
China.
you.
Então, assim, eles não têm, aí rola problema.
Thanks a lot, Gilberto. As he
Você vai lá
said
fora fazer
just
uma
now,